Coming up on Carolina Week, it's a big construction project and it's part of the goal to put Carolina at the forefront of public universities. But this project is a lot bigger than the campus and its student population.
Do female athletes have a gripe when it comes to gender equity in Carolina's athletic programs? We'll take an in-depth look.
There's lots of red on campus, but it's definitely not NC State fans. Find out why Carolina's wearing red for a cause this week.
We'll also have your Carolina weekend forecast and a preview of Friday's match in the NCAA Women's Soccer College Cup.
Carolina Week starts now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us for the December 3rd edition of Carolina Week. I'm Andrea McAfee.
And I'm Courtney Robinson. Our top story tonight. It caused debate between community members and university leaders. Now university officials are releasing the newest version of the draft plan for Carolina North to the public. Carolina Week's Dana Hackett joins us on scene from Girard Hall, where university officials are holding an informational session for faculty and students. Dana?
Thanks, Courtney. University officials held a meeting here Wednesday afternoon to give campus community members the opportunity to voice their opinion about Carolina North. Officials, they've used up available resources here on campus and now must look elsewhere if UNC Chapel Hill is to become the nation's leading public university.
Imagine an area that has the historic feel of Polk Place, but is located a mile from campus. The newest draft proposal for Carolina North attempts to incorporate the historic feel of Carolina while promoting a technologically advanced community. The plan calls for development of 240 acres. That's about a fourth of the designated land surrounding Horace Williams Airport. Research facilities will comprise the majority of Carolina North. Other features include residential buildings, retail stores, and sidewalks that promote walking or biking as a means of transportation. But there's controversy concerning the new development, mainly from residents of nearby neighborhoods who are concerned about traffic congestion. Vice Chancellor for Economic Development Tony Waldrop says this week's informational sessions are designed to address these types of concerns.
I think people are appreciating that we're engaged in getting evaluation from the community, from people and elected officials, and others that wish to comment on this plan that we've developed for Carolina North. We very much want that feedback, and we certainly think it will help shape the best plan so that it benefits the university and the town of Chapel Hill.
Waldrop says he hopes Carolina North will become a community where people can live, work, and play all in the same area.
Officials plan to build Carolina North in 7 phases, each lasting about 5 to 10 years. It'll take about 50 years to complete the entire project, or on available resources.
So tell us, Dana, how will students, faculty, and neighboring residents benefit from this development?
Well, according to Waldrop, he says that Carolina North has a variety of uses. Of course, there'll be research facilities, but there'll also be restaurants, coffee shops, and possibly even daycares. Also, if any organization would like to relocate to Carolina North, they can do so if they have a university sponsor and help advance the university's mission of research and public service.
Thanks, Dana. University officials say they hope to break ground on the Carolina North development by 2005, but it will take much more extensive planning and revising before officials can set a definitive date.
The holiday season arrives about the same time a new basketball season does, and the two combined have Franklin Street sales booming. The holiday rush has begun for shop owners on Franklin Street. Sales are up this year, and Carolina basketball gear is in high demand. Truckloads of Tar Heel gifts are being sent off every day. Chapel Hill Sportswear does most of its business on the internet. Assistant Manager Scott Jones says it's going to be a banner season for Franklin Street sales this year.
No, the holiday rush is here. We sent out 400 or so packages Monday. Holiday season has begun, and we are working frantically to fill orders now.
The more popular items this holiday season are the ones that bring Tar Heel sports and Christmas together. At 10 of the 12 schools in the expanded Atlantic Coast Conference, the men's and women's basketball team play in the same facilities.
The only universities where the men's and women's programs have separate venues are North Carolina State and here at UNC Chapel Hill. Carolina Week's Amanda Eiler joins us in the studio with more.
Courtney, some female athletes and coaches are complaining that the men's and women's basketball facilities are not only separate, but unequal.
Since the opening of the Dean E. Smith Center in 1986, the men's and women's basketball teams have played in different venues. The men play in the Dean Dome, a landmark at Carolina. The women play home games in the 38-year-old Carmichael Auditorium.
Right now, as far as the women's basketball program is concerned, it's below standards.
Carolina Athletics Director Dick Bedour disagrees. He says Carmichael is a good place for the women to play.
I would say that this facility, in terms of as you compare it with other ACC schools or other schools, is not a whole lot different.
Carolina Week organized a forum to ask fans whether Smith Taylor has a case. In Carmichael Auditorium, fans pointed to the PA system and the bleachers as particular problems.
When they pull those down, a lot of steel connecting pieces fall apart. There are holes in those bleachers that are big enough for a person to fall through.
Bedour agrees the bleachers in Carmichael are a problem.
The replacement of the bleachers is something I feel like we've got to do from a safety standpoint. I mean, nobody's in any danger, but we need to do that as soon as possible.
But the bleachers aren't the fans' main concern. It's the lack of parking near Carmichael.
Getting there is impossible. I don't care if you're able-bodied, it's impossible to get there.
If you go to a baseball game, you can park right next to it. You walk in, see the game, you got a nice facility, and it makes it convenient.
Women's head coach Sylvia Hatchell says coming to Carmichael is tough on the fans of her team, mostly parents with young children and senior citizens. For them, the preference would be the Smith Center.
For our fans, the parking would be better, and that's what I get hit with all the time.
Bedour adds that fans for the women's games might be swallowed up in the Smith Center.
To have 5,000 in Carmichael is more of a competitive advantage than to have 5,000 in the Smith Center.
Assistant coach Charlotte Smith Taylor plays in the WNBA in some very large arenas. She says for the Pro League, the answer is simple.
In our facility, it holds like 24,000, and so we just blanket off the top so that it just looks like you have the bottom bowl.
Smith Taylor is the most decorated female basketball player in Carolina history. In 1994, with less than a second on the clock, she hit a three-point shot, sealing the NCAA National Championship by a point. She says moving to the Smith Center is the best way for the women's program to build on its fan base.
Even if the university did some renovations within Carmichael, it still wouldn't rectify the situation that we have with parking.
Carmichael has its advantages. Fans are closer to the players, and it's a facility rich in history and tradition. But that might not be enough for the Heels to compete with other schools in recruiting.
Our competition now, especially within the conference, Virginia, Maryland, you know, they've all got, I mean, nice arenas to play in. You know, a lot like the Smith Center. And, you know, it's all about competition, and that's what recruiting's all about.
Bedour says the women had an opportunity to make the Smith Center their home when it opened 17 years ago.
When the plans were first drawn for the Smith Center, it was going to serve both, but women's basketball said, we like the smaller environment here. We want this to be our home. This is where we want to be.
Jennifer Alley was the women's head coach at the time. She remembers things differently.
It was understood that women's basketball and men's basketball would be moving to the Smith Center. And about 2 weeks before the official move was to occur, an administrative decision was made that women's basketball would not be going to the Smith Center, that we were going to be given Dean Smith's office in Carmichael, and that Carmichael would be the facility for women's basketball.
Alley left Carolina in 1986, shortly after the men's team made the move to the Smith Center. Despite the inconveniences fans associate with Carmichael and the recruiting advantages the women's team might realize by playing in the Smith Center,
Experts such as Barbara Osborne say Carolina hasn't violated Title IX, the law requiring institutions receiving federal funds not to discriminate on the basis of sex. Osborne says UNC meets the letter of the law and in many ways is a model program. But she adds that the NCAA went one step further than Title IX when it issued its gender equity statement.
Schools are in compliance with the spirit of Title IX when you could substitute what the male athletes get for what the female athletes get, and both genders would still be satisfied with what they have.
Now that might be the key question. Would the men's basketball team be as happy if they switched places with the women's basketball team? We contacted the Sports Information Department to set up a one-on-one interview with Coach Roy Williams or a representative of the men's basketball team, but they denied our request.
Thanks, Amanda. We'll take a different aspect of this story next week.
It's a never-ending battle for collectors.
Always trying to find that one rare stamp or coin to complete the collection.
But one collector isn't having a hard time adding to the collection, but keeping it. More after this break.
It's great that the Salvation Army does so much for the needy during the holiday season.
But you know that isn't all the Salvation Army does. They also run Boys and Girls Clubs.
They also provide relief for those who need it after natural disasters.
And they help the homeless by providing temporary relief and shelter.
They even run summer camps for low-income children.
Need has no season. Please help the Salvation Army help others.
The Ronald McDonald House is a nonprofit organization that provides a home away from home for families of children being treated at UNC hospitals. Since opening in 1988, the house has welcomed more than 1,000 families each year to stay at this safe haven. The house relies heavily on community support. How can you help? Become a volunteer. Help the house that love built. The Ronald McDonald House, the house with a heart.
If you're wondering why you've seen so many people wearing red ribbons across campus this week, you probably haven't been to the pit lately. Students in the pit ring a bell every 5 minutes to signify another 25 people who've died of AIDS. This is Worldwide AIDS Awareness Week, and student volunteers for the Center for Healthy Student Behaviors are passing out red ribbons and safe sex information kits. Sophomore Erica Curry is sitting in the pit in an effort to teach those in her community about the dangers of the disease.
And I just feel like it's important that I'm here as an example to other African Americans to try to get information so our community can be more informed about its effects.
Students will be in the pit all week. Other events include the HIV/AIDS Quilt Project, free HIV testing, and the annual World AIDS Walk.
The senior class CCI laptop drive begins this week. Seniors can donate their used laptops to benefit nonprofit community and campus organizations. The drive is in collaboration with Triangle United Way's Teaming for Technology project. United Way's Shelley Bowers-Rogelia encourages seniors to contribute to the cause.
The need is great. In the community, there's probably need for hundreds and hundreds. But because the need is so great and laptops are such rare donations, we'd be very happy to have one donated.
Seniors can drop off their used laptops on Thursday in the Student Union Meeting Room 2 from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Also part of the Winter Senior Week is the Winter Formal. That's Thursday night from 9 p.m. to midnight at the George Watts Hill Alumni Center. Tickets are $10 and can be purchased at the Alumni Center. On Friday, seniors can attend Club UL in the undergraduate library from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. The event will feature music, food, and drinks. Senior t-shirts will also be on sale.
If you're going to South Point Mall or into Raleigh, your drive just got easier. The eastbound I-40 exits opened Tuesday night, easing some headaches for drivers. The DOT closed the exits as part of the I-40 widening. If you're on 40 heading from NC 54 toward 15501, you'll have not 2, but 3 lanes to choose from starting Thursday. An update to a story we've been following for several weeks. Eflin resident Hoyle King is in trouble again because of the old cars and junk on his property. King's sprawling junkyard earn him 5 days in jail in November after he ignored Orange County orders to clean up. The county asked him to fence in the yard, but so far, the fence he's built is out of compliance. That means King will head to court again December 17th. County officials say King has been somewhat cooperative, but if he doesn't resolve the situation soon, they'll take up on the cleaning effort themselves.
With winter rapidly approaching, North Carolina might see one of the most severe flu seasons in recent history. The flu causes an average of 36,000 deaths in the U.S. each year, and college students are particularly at risk because of living in such close environment with so many people. Symptoms begin suddenly and might include fever, severe headache, body aches, a sore throat, and cough. To decrease your chances of getting the flu, avoid contact with those who are ill, frequently wash your hands, and drink plenty of fluids. For more information regarding local area flu vaccinations, contact your local health department or student health at 966-2281. Well, Andrea, the flu obviously is no fun.
I know, and the weather probably had a lot to do with it. Meredith Croak is here with the weekend's weather. Meredith?
Well, guys, as you've probably noticed, it's been quite chilly out there, and not much end in sight for this weather. With a rainy Friday on tap and some mountain snow possible, you'll need to bundle up for this weekend. This weekend's full forecast is coming up after the break.
No one looks back fondly on the years they spent in a parking garage. When we lose a historic place, we lose a part of who we are. Help protect historic places in your community. Visit nationaltrust.org.
Excuse me, do you guys get tested for HIV?
Tested for HIV? No way, man, that's just not where we're at right now. It's just about us and our music.
What you doing to me? What you doing to me?
Welcome back. First, let's take a look at the Climate Prediction Center forecast. This is the forecast for December, and they are issuing no signs of any significant forcing or El Nino that will cause our temperatures to be below normal. We're actually expecting temperatures to be slightly above normal, but for now, our temperatures are about 10 to 15 degrees below normal. So let's take a look at your satellite map, and this is the first system that we need to keep our eye on. These clouds that are moving into our area is kind of the precursor for the significant weather that we could be facing towards this weekend. But as for now, you can see fairly clear skies over the area, not too much going on just yet. Now let's take a look at your forecast map. You can see this high pressure. This is actually what's ushering in the cold air that we've been experiencing over the past few days. And this system is going to keep on ushering that cold air in. And then this other low pressure system is what we need to watch out for. As we can see, this low pressure system could be moving towards our region and bring us some rain snow event for this coming weekend. We may even see some accumulating snow over the mountains, and it should be mostly an ice event to some flurries around us, but not too much to worry about in the Triangle region. We do need to just keep an eye on that system, but behind that you can see just a high pressure behind that. So Sunday looks like it will be a very nice day as that high pressure system makes its way in. So now let's take a look at your Carolina Week 4-day forecast. And you see Friday, again, chance of a snow event, maybe mixing with some snow. Most of the snow is going to be over the higher elevations into the mountains of North Carolina, so not too much to worry about in the Triangle, but again, keep your eye on that. A high on Friday of 45 degrees with a low hovering right around the freezing mark of 32 degrees. Saturday, much cooler day, 38 degrees. This is when we see our best chance of some snow flurries around the region, and our low, very cold low of 28 degrees. Sunday, the sky should be clearing up. Sunday looks like the better day of the weekend, a high of 45 degrees. So it's starting to warm up again, but that low Sunday night, 25 degrees, and that's mainly due to the clearing skies on Sunday night. Monday looks like a very nice day at this point with a high temperature of 52 degrees and a low temperature of 34 degrees. Now let's look at your beach forecast. Your high on Saturday at the beach will be 45 degrees, and it looks like it's going to be a little chilly in the evening with 32 degrees for your low on Saturday and 28 degrees for your low on Sunday. Heading to the mountains, and if you want to get out there, there should be some snow showers in the mountains on Sunday, as was mentioned. Not sure how much accumulation there'll be just yet, but very cold, 22 degrees for the low on Saturday and 22 degrees for the low on Sunday. And if you want to head out to the slopes, this is your first ski forecast for the season. Appalachian, North Carolina, they have 4 trails open and a base of 18 to 32 inches. And Sugar Mountain, North Carolina, now has 5 trails open and a 10 to 35 inch base. So it looks like some good skiing weather out there. That's your weekend forecast. Back to you, Andrea.
Thanks, Meredith.
Well, Luke, it looks like Roy worked his magic with the men's basketball team Tuesday night.
Yeah, right now they're ranked number 10 in the country, and hopefully if they keep winning, they might even start moving up some more.
Hopefully.
Carolina sports is at the top of its game. The men's basketball team played like champions Tuesday night in Greensboro against the Fighting Illini. And the women's soccer team might be champions for the 18th time this weekend. More sports after this break.
To change the world, you don't have to be rich, or famous, or play ball, or lead countries. All you have to do is tell your family you want to be an organ donor. Talk to your family about organ donation. Talk to your family about donating life.
Tell me my favorite story.
Once upon a time, a girl had a secret playmate
Who lived in a castle in cyberspace,
and they downloaded megabyte after megabyte
which took a gig and half a memory.
at 3 million bits per second.
And that was 60 times faster than the old dial-up.
By age 12, too many girls lose interest in math and science and their chance at most future jobs. Keep her interest alive.
Could we read Alice in Numberland?
It's her future. Do the math.
What up? Stuart Scott from ESPN. I'm here in Chapel Hill in the Dean Dome. But you know what? When I go home and turn on my TV, I'm actually not watching Sports Center when I'm here in Chapel Hill. I'm watching Carolina Week Sports. Booyah!
The ACC Big Ten Challenge hasn't been much of a challenge since it began. The ACC has won all 4 years, but the Tar Heels haven't helped the conference. They've lost 4 straight matchups. Roy Williams and the Heels look to change that Tuesday night. After a back-and-forth first half, the Heels went on a 6-0 run to take a 39-33 lead at half. Rashad McCants does it from behind the arc and in the paint. Teammate Sean May takes over on both ends of the court with 23 points and 14 boards. He also adds a big block late. The Heels make 5 straight free throws to ice the win. May says the team is really coming together.
We came to work the last 2 days of practice, and it showed how mature this team has gotten, to stay together through, we could have gone down in Cleveland State, and we came in tonight, stayed together, played a great basketball game, and got a good win against Illinois tonight.
The Heels return to action against George Mason on Sunday in the Dean Dome. Game time is at 1 p.m. The Carolina women's swimming team found a great way to go into winter break, swimming against NC State. The Wolfpack hasn't won an ACC meet this season. The Tar Heel women made it look easy Tuesday night. The 200-yard medley relay sets the tone early, and Megan Nystrand follows suit in the backstroke. Coach Frank Comfort is nothing but comfortable with this one. He watches Jessie Perquette coast a double victory in the 500 and 100-yard freestyles, and this one's a sleeper. State can only encourage from the sidelines. The Heels win 14 of 16 events as they dominate 212-87. Carolina improves to 4-1 on the season. Even after the disappointing loss to Duke, the football team found something to celebrate at its annual banquet. Offensive MVP Darian Durant was all over the place this year, setting single-season records for most pass completions, most passing yards, and total offense with almost 3,000 yards. In his first 3 years at UNC, Durant has set nearly every Tar Heel career passing and total offense mark. For the second year in a row, Dexter Reed was named Defensive MVP, leading the Heels in tackles. The top-ranked Carolina women's soccer team has already had an impressive season, but the Heels have yet to attain their #1 goal. Chris Cox has the story. The Final Four is being played in nearby Cary. The Heels play in the semifinals against second-ranked UCLA at 2:30 on Friday. If they win, they'll play for the championship on Sunday against either Florida State or Connecticut. The next couple of days will be busy for the 13th-ranked women's basketball team, who will try for 2 wins Wednesday and Friday nights at 7 p.m. at Carmichael Auditorium. The undefeated Lady Tar Heels will be hosting the Tennessee Martin Skyhawks Wednesday and South Carolina State on Friday.
Thanks, Luke.
Well, speaking of walking, students walk across campus all week long.
And up and down stairs.
Just when you think you're getting tired,
there are a few more to climb before you can really call yourself a true Carolina student.
When your children ask where you got married, will you have to tell them over there by the unleaded? When we lose a historic place, we lose a part of who we are. Help protect historic places in your community. Visit nationaltrust.org.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Hey, Mark, where are you going with your piggy bank? I'm going to give my allowance to the Interfaith Council. Why? Mom says they help people, and they need our help, too.
The Interfaith Council has been helping families for over 30 years through family services and community house. Donations come from individuals, and every donation counts.
I want to help, too.
Call the Interfaith Council at 929-6380.
Okay, guys, time for takeoff. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! Wow! Whoa, look at that! Is that Jupiter?
Hey kids, it's time to go to the planetarium.
Moorhead Planetarium, where dreams become reality.
December graduation is right around the corner for some Carolina seniors.
But before they walk across the stage to receive their diplomas, some seniors took an extra walk to the bell tower to get a bird's eye view of the campus. Lured in by free food and the promise of a great view, many seniors spent the morning and early afternoon climbing up to the pinnacle of UNC's campus. Bell tower memorabilia lined the walls of the tower throughout the 104 steps to the top. Senior Tori Kaiser liked what she saw once she reached her destination.
It's further enough up to have a good view, but it's not so far that you can't tell what things are, so it's really nice.
May graduates will have another chance to experience the bell tower and its view during senior week in April. I bet that's an awesome view up there.
Well, Andrea, you go up first and I'll be right there behind you.
Well, I'm not gonna rush it just yet. I'm not ready to leave Carolina. Thanks for joining us.
Amanda Yarusi and Amanda Eiler will be here Monday night with more news and sports. Good night.
Good night.